And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
Milo gets third!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes
Swag.
Zwack.
A push from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
The oldest continuously operating motorsport facility in the world. The Milwaukee Mile has more than a century's worth of history, and while the track honors its history each year with the Millers at Milwaukee Vintage IndyCar event, here tonight, we're going to have a stock car series. It's the Overtake iRacing League Truck Series live at the Milwaukee Mile. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. Alongside me tonight, Morgan Cook, our producer and co-commentator, and our pit reporter, Cody Anderson from Overtake iRacing League. And tonight we have a great show for you. This track has a lot of history, but it's 9 degrees of banking and it's 2 degrees on the straightaways. It's a very flat 4-corner oval, exactly a mile in length in West Allis, Wisconsin. And August 8th, 1905 is when this track opened. Ever since then, Morgan, it's been the host of many events, cars. It's seen the history of everything motorsports has to offer.
That's right, and this is a difficult little racetrack to drive on for sure. You need a downshift into these corners, these wide sweeping corners, high speed on the straightaways and all that. And if you remember back to our Pocono coverage a while ago, turn 1 at Pocono is based off of this racetrack, the Milwaukee Mile.
So now as we set up race analysis on your screen here, let's talk a little bit about how these guys are going to figure this stage. 35 laps, and these tires will probably be cooked. The right front is going to be all but gone by the time they get to that point. Downshifting to set the nose, you're going to see a lot of that here to keep the car on power and steer with the throttle. 45 miles per hour on pit road. That's not too bad, but the pit road entry is a little shallow, so drivers will have to be careful because if you're trying to get to that pit and someone's behind you, you're going to have to report it. You might get ran over.
One of the most difficult pit roads to get onto in all of motorsports. The opening is about the narrowest on any track that there is, and there is no access road to get there. It's just right off the racing surface. So that could be a difficult point for drivers all night tonight.
Green light checkered attempts. Sorry, go ahead, Cody. I was going to ask you, we have 3 tire sets available. So what do you think that would be the option? When do you take tires? Do you want to take them on your first stage break, or do you want to wait a little bit later in this race?
I mean, honestly, with 3 over the wall, I'd say for sure you're definitely going to come in at that stage break and you're going to put a set of tires on there. Otherwise, you're going to be screaming about 10 laps after the stage, and you're just going to watch yourself drop from the top all the way to the back. And then I'd say, depending on what we have for cautions tonight, that'll be the real kicker on your last 2 sets. I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody make a strategy call if there's a late caution with 10 to 15 to go, come down and grab a tire set. But I'd say probably around 60 to 65, you may see some guys come in and get their second set.
At the grid here just momentarily as you see the clock on the left-hand side of your screen switching over, and that means we actually had the points there on the screen. You get a good look at that, and it's changed so many times throughout this season. But we're approaching crunch time now for all of the Overtake iRacing League. Let's get your grid on track side now. Starting on the pole, Christopher McCullough is going to start with a 29.776. He wins over Sean Kaser by just under a tenth of a second. Barrett Morton's going to start in the 3rd position with Andy Kurtz in 4th. Row number 3 belongs to Daniel Cunningham. Alex Healy will start in 6th. 7th position, Kyle Mace. He's led the points here to start the season, but has since fallen off. He'll be back in 7th. Dustin Reinstedel will be in 8th position. And rounding out your top 10 here tonight at the Milwaukee Mile, Daniel Worthington and Eric Parks.
Starting in 11th will be Bobby Hall Jr. in that 94 machine. Peyton Hubbard beside him in the 51. 13th will be Wes Wiegand in the 88. John Mollahan will start 14th. 15th, Kenneth McCullough Jr. beside Chad Ross running 16th. 17th, Nick Gardner. 18th, Justin Branham. Rounding out row 10, Zane Zadie and Travis Bieber.
21st, you'll have the 25 of James Kaufman alongside the 07 of Brian Kaiser. 23rd, Jeremiah Hobbs alongside Ron Morris Jr. And the last row of the grid tonight will be the 93 of Tom Hall and the 67 of Michael Cole.
26 cars going to start out here tonight, and while we have this opportunity, I believe the Milwaukee Mile has a single lap here for the pace laps, but really quickly, if we could bring in a driver that we haven't talked to much this season, I would like to get a chance to talk to Michael Cole. He's been having some struggles here as of late, but if we could bring him up into the booth, I'm hunting for him right now, but I don't know if I see him.
Got him.
Michael Cole, it's Bradley Cooper, Morgan Cook, Cody Anderson in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
And Michael, you've struggled here as of late. The qualifying, again, here tonight, a little bit of a struggle. But here at the Milwaukee Mile, it's kind of an even keel. Not a lot of people are good at this track. Do you think you have the opportunity here to race up to the front?
I don't know. These guys are really good. I'm just trying to get as good as them.
Well, the struggles have been real here, but you've been committed here to the season. You're having a little connection issue here, and I just want to warn you about that. But the commitment here, you're making the races, you're practicing with these guys. Good luck out there, and we'll maybe get to talk to you post-race.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's a 67. Michael Cole will be starting back in the 26th position here to begin this race. But here we go. Pace car is going to pull off this time by, well, the pace truck, rather. Barney has the green flag up in the air. Christopher McCullough and Sean Kaser are going to lead them into turn one for the first time today at the Milwaukee Mile. The Overtake iRacing League Truck Series is green flag and racing. Little bit of three-wide action back there in the fifth position, but coming by to lead the first one, it's going to be the 04 Christopher McCullough. Back there with Alex Healy, Daniel Cunningham, these guys still laying it on each other, three-wide peeking into one, and it looks like Kurtz starting to make up some spots, or getting back to where he began this race, now moving to the inside of Sean Kaser, who's lost a position. All three wide again, Morgan. These guys really cooking the front tires off these things, running three different lines, and I'd have to say that if you're on that outside right now, that right front is hot. Focusing in here with the 08 of Daniel Cunningham. He's sitting in the 7th spot. He's lost a couple spots here already. He's starting to regain that momentum, and I think a lot of these guys that lost positions, it just amounted to the start of this race. They weren't on the favored line. If you started on the outside, you probably lost a couple until you got settled into the bottom.
Running the previous race here, knowing what this track can do to some tires, that's staying down by that curve as close as you can, just hugging it, kind of like a Bristol aspect of hugging the bottom to save those tires. It's exactly right like it is here. Down on that different colored asphalt, you're going to have a little bit more grip down there. It's going to be a little bit easier because you're going to have to roll a little bit slower down there. But you're going to see maybe some of your passes are going to come from a deep dive into the corner on that outside and being able to carry a little bit more speed and trying to get that run out of the corner just to make the pass on somebody.
Looking at 19th position, the 94 Bobby Hall has fallen. He was up around the 11th position to begin this race, all the way back to 18th, 19th spot he's struggling here. I know you can conserve a little bit, but if you conserve that much, he's already lost about 0.7 of a second to the guys in front of him, trying to regain back on the 114 of Travis Beaver. I mean, if you get deep enough in this field, you kind of run the risk of not ever being able to overtake anyone because everyone's so even on these times.
But now is the time to try and get something. If on tires, I would be pushing as hard as I can right now, so at least have an idea what the fall off is going to be when you get that lap 35 stage break. I wouldn't really be conserving at this point in time, as there's no real benefit to doing so.
I believe that 94 had a little bit of a half spin that he saved as well, because I seen him down underneath the curbing. That's when I believe the 51 commented on the save that he made. So I believe that's why the 94 is back there.
So now with the stage break, Morgan, your mentality is go get them while you can. I mean, you're pretty much guaranteed to come in. Everyone's going to take 4 tires, and the stage point's so important. We talked about that in every race that we've been in, how it's kind of multiplied the guys that have been in the lead in these points because they're not falling out of the top 10 during these stages, and ultimately that's how you got to maintain the points lead. You can see the gaps there we showed you in the pre-race. There's John Mullahan in the 6 car, currently running in the 11th spot, just outside of the top 10. But your driver mentality here for these stages, it kind of changes how we used to race, where you would pace yourself, you would save your tires and wait till the end to really show your hand. Now, I mean, points so important at the end of the stage, you have to push yourself for the first 25, 30 laps of this race.
If you're not getting it, then someone else is going to drive around you. That's just the way these races work, and we've seen it all year in OiL. You have to drive aggressively on restarts, and you have to go get positions because no one's going to give them to you.
Battle for the lead here. The 0-4 on the inside. The 5 of Kurtz trying to take over the position as they come out of turn 2. Looks like Kurtz almost has him cleared down the back stretch. There he goes now. And this track, I would say, kind of similar to Gateway in the way that it operates. It's very flat at Gateway as well. And so the guys that did well there seem to be doing well here as well. You've got Barry Morton, Christopher McCullough, Andy Kurtz, all the guys that run these flat tracks really well. They're right at home at this place.
Yeah, I'd say this is pretty similar to Loudon as well. Same kind of idea, same size and shape. In fact, the only difference with Loudon is the middle groove is the fast groove, whereas here it's right around that yellow curbing. But yeah, quite a bit like a flat track, like you said. And if you're good on flat tracks, you're kind of good at all flat tracks. They all drive fairly similar.
For a millisecond, I had to dig into my archives. That's New Hampshire. I was Loudon. I was losing my mind there for a minute, and I was like, oh yeah, that's up in the New England states. So I solved that myself. I didn't have to type into Google. You guys proud of me?
Pretty proud. Pretty proud.
Very, very proud of you, Bradley.
On a side Mullahan loses. I was going to say, Mullahan lost another spot there while we're talking. He's actually still 2 up. Chad Ross is on the move, 5 spots up. So a lot of this top 10 has stayed pretty stagnant. They've traded some positions, but it's been about the same drivers up here in the top 10.
That's the 77 truck. He's a new driver into the series, but he's rocking the old Hot Wheels car map car back there. Kind of a different kind of paint scheme to what you'd normally see.
That is kind of neat. We get to zoom in on that machine. It's got a lot going on there that a lot to unpack there on that machine. But it is very sharp looking. I like the greens, the yellows. It definitely stands out for sure.
Got some good texture to it too. But Wes Wiegand could reach out and just feel how see the side of that truck is.
he was reaching for it right there as it came out of turn 2. He got a little tag on it. Had some color to the white Fanatec 88, and you can see Wiegand also kind of struggling here. He's down 4 spots. He's fallen. He started up at 13th. So, I mean, if you find yourself this early in the race, are you in learning mode right now, or are you just that far off the pace and you're just praying that we have some cautions to get you caught back up?
What do you think, Cody?
I think it's a little bit of a mixture of both. That's guys not wanting to push so hard at the start. 'Cause, I mean, you got guys in the top 10 who have just kind of pulled away a little bit, and then you got everybody back. They're all within seconds,
3/10,
maybe 2. And
Yeah, I'm seeing back from about 6th position on back, Cody. It's about 3/10 of a second. Some of these guys still right on top of each other. Chad Ross going to the inside of Worthington. I mean, the positions are there. The passing opportunities are there for anybody outside the top 5 right now. I'm not really seeing anyone push the issue except for these 3 right here, and everyone else is just kind of like following single file. They're all running the same line.
that's a lot of it. That's the battle for the final stage point in about 16, 17 laps, if my math is right.
Was stage break 35? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I can't remember that. 35. So yeah, we're sitting at about 17 laps, yeah, to come across here. And man, 3 wide almost here for the 113. Worthington holding on. Chad Ross cannot get clear of him. And that goes back to we see a lot of progressive banking tracks. So if you're wondering why these guys can't complete the pass, it has nothing to do with their talent. It's the fact that this racetrack does not encourage passing on the inside. Everyone's kind of even keel, and when you run the outside line, you can kind of get the truck straight and back onto the throttle a little bit sooner than the guy that's trying to overtake you. And that's a good defense. We saw some of that 3 wide again here off of 4. They are burning the tires off this, but this is just outside that position for points, and they want it bad enough. Someone's going to make the move, and similar to Martinsville, Loudon, this track, you almost have to move a guy out of the way if you want it.
That's coming into the end of the regular season. I think some of the guys who haven't had a terrific season are hoping with the drop race that they get their worst race drop, and it helps them enough to where they can get inside that top 16. Because believe it or not, there's, through the 10 races that we've run already, there's only been about 6 winners. That's, you've got Barrett, who's got 3 wins. I think Andy Kurtz has 2, and then you got the other 4 guys. They've all won 1 race. So you're gonna have probably about 10 to 11 positions, maybe, that are gonna get in on points. So getting those stage points is really going to help you get into that top 16 to get yourself into those playoffs.
Morgan, you see here with Barrett Morton, he's one of the drivers that's kind of favored to win these races, but out of the ordinary for him today, he's up in the top 3. Usually he doesn't show his hand until late in these races where we get down to the 20, 30 to go mark, and then suddenly the 9 car is up at the front.
And he started up at the front this time, so he doesn't really have much farther forward to go. Usually, obviously, he starts in the teens and 20s and ends up appearing with 20 to go, but here he is running T2 right now behind Andy Kurtz, and he's pushing, I have a feeling. Just trying to see what these tires are going to do on this run, and got a little diamond off the corner. Let's try it on board a little bit here.
And Cody, you talked about it pre-race, saving the tires, but some of these guys are just on the move, riding around with Barrett Morton right now. He is not making up time. Last time by, he was matching with Andy Kurtz. These guys are the fastest trucks on the racetrack, but if you're 3rd, 4th position, like Christopher McCullough, who started up on the pole, are you pushing the issue right now, or are you just going to try to maintain this 3rd spot?
Honestly, for McCullough and Keeley behind them, they've got a little bit of a gap behind them. I'd say maintain, because with Kurtz and Morton running how quickly they are. Oh, sounds like we've got a caution.
We do. It's appears to be Brian Kaser, the 07, all by his lonesome back here on the backstretch. Maybe got loose coming out of turn 2. Let's go back on the instant replay. Well, there's a little smoke in front of him there. There's some guys going side by side. Yep, just gets loose here, inside wall. And that brings out our first caution of the day, just shy of that stage break. So we're going to have about, I'd say 6-7 laps that are green here. What is the call now? I mean, this throws the strategy out the window. Do you come down now and then I'd say probably 5th position back, you might as well come down and get those 4 fresh tires, because those guys up front will definitely come get them at the stage break, and you can stay out.
I honestly say follow what the leader does. That's if he wants to stay out. I mean, if you're 11th place or back, I'd say come down and get some tires. Maybe try and get yourself into those stage points if the top 10 do decide to stay out. But honestly, I think with 10 to go here, and we'll probably only have the 5 to 6 green once we get back green. The way Kurtz and Morton have been running, I don't think they have much wear on their right front.
Well, the 11th position driver, Ross, it looks like the 24 had a problem here. Looking at Sean Kaser just sitting on the front stretch. Not sure what's going on with that, but you see Chad Ross come down to pit road. John Mullahan in his stall as well. Kenneth McCullough Jr. in the 03. Sean Kaser is sitting on the racetrack, and I have no idea what's going on there. He's finally up and running again. Maybe a hardware issue for the 24. He just parked it on the front stretch. He acted like he was going to come down pit road and then decided not to. I think he's going to resume his position up here in the top 10, but nonetheless, maybe a VR headset issue. I don't know.
It looked like he DC'd for just a second, was able to come back, and it looks like he will regain his position. I think he was running 6th or so, something like that, 5th maybe. There he is, P5.
So it could have been one of those issues, and I know that Overtake iRacing has been kind of harping on this. iRacing made a change at some point. I've talked about it during broadcast, where the cars around you will disappear, but you're still appearing to them, and you drive through them. And instead of in the old days where you would just blink out and go through the cars, now you're hitting them. Maybe that was just his way of preventing that from happening. Just pull it down to the inside and park the car and wait for it to clear out.
That's in looking at Race Control app. It tells you when people go NIW, which is iRacing's not in world blinking. Sean has a list of not in world. So I am going to go ahead and say that that was his issue, and instead of keeping going like we've seen a few times in the league, he made the bright call just to stop it on the front stretch to not ruin his race or anyone else's.
Doubled back up now. Pace truck pulls off. Kurtz and Morton, the front row. Green flag is out for the second time today, and a little shootout here before the stage break. Side by side, and now the 04 sees some opportunity. He's going to force it into the inside of the 97. Healy on the outside coming out of 2. Top 4 split away. A little gap back there to the 08 and the 24. They're side by side for the 5th position. 3 wide behind for the 3rd or 10th spot. Everybody hungry for those stage points and pushing the issue. 3 wide again with the 6. Some of these new tires trying to work their way back through and get to that top 10. Will they have enough time? Morton, or Mullahan rather, in the 6 has picked up about 5 positions already. He looks like Superman through this pack.
Boxing a little bit right there off of turn 2. He's going to try and dive it into turn 3 here. There you see that 6 machine. He can go wherever they can't.
Oh, a little check up there by the 58. I think the 6 would have been better off to go to the inside. Now he does get the run.
Watch him get 6 cars
3
right
wide
here.
with a 94. Mullahan already has grabbed about 7 spots here since the green flag come back out. And here he goes to the inside. He's got 3 wide in front of him. Where do you go here, Morgan?
To the bottom. To the bottom.
He's just going to keep sending it. That's all he can do. He's got to just be where they're not. Unfortunately, the guys in front of him are also racing side by side, so that kind of you got to be more selective where you're going to get your run. Back up front, though, it's Kurtz, and he's pulled out half a second already to Barrett Morton. Christopher McCullough, 7/10 back from Morton. Alex Healy, a 2.5 off the lead. The top 5 has spread out. It's looking like they're going to seal the deal here for these 5 positions. only questionable car that I'd have to say right now is maybe Sean Kaser could figure out a way around the 08 of Daniel Cunningham. That 5th place is still up for grabs. We got a pass here behind them as well. 7th and 8th spot, Peyton Hubbard, Dustin Reinstettel. As we approach lap 33, they can't quite complete the pass here. Reinstettel holding it up on the outside pretty well.
Look
that
at Mullahan on
but
the
here
top.
comes Morton. Yeah, there's Mullahan rather in the 6th. He's going to get back into this top 10. He thought about it. I thought he was going to take it 3 wide. He's got Reinstettel up top. Just no room here. Lap 34 coming up. Take a quick on board here with the 6 of Mullahan. You can just see what he's dealing with right now. Bear Nation, Reinstettel right in front of him. He set him up there for the pass to the inside. He's going to be 3 wide coming off the corner. He's a lot faster than the 11, but the 11 taking away his line to get clear.
Unsuccessful strategy so far for the 6. He went from nowhere near stage points to probably grabbing the last one.
I don't know. I don't think he's done yet. He's still trying to get around the 11. He moves him out of the way here and gets him up the racetrack. Now going to get a good drive off to 9th spot. Down the front stretch. Now to the inside of the 03. He's not done. He's going to get 2 more.
There it is, 9th. Mullahan finished in that stage. Andy Kurtz wins it.
Stage winner, the 5. And he led... Well, I would read that graphic, but
25.
It's tiny on my screen. 25
of
laps. So all but 10, and I think the 04 led the other 10 here.
I would agree with you there.
So that'll do it for the first stage here at the Milwaukee Mile. We're going to come down pit road here and get these guys racked back up. We'll check in with your pit stops here. And I do believe that Andy Kurtz, Barrett Morton, pretty much everybody in this top 10 minus John Mullahan are going to come down pit road. I think if you're the 6 now, you've kind of made your bed. Now you did drive it a little harder that time, and you got 10 laps on the stint. So if you stay out, be prepared to get freight trained, because 10 laps is really all it takes to fall off half a second here.
Looks like the 03 is going to stay out too. That's a bit of a surprise call. Looks like he also pitted.
That's
actually,
the 03. Yep.
with
That's
Mullahan.
you had 4 pit there on that first caution, and you had 2 stay towards the back and 2 went to the front.
So if you didn't successfully race up through this field for the stage points, I think a lot of these guys just came back in and topped off. Bobby Hall and it looks like Zadie. He came back in. They topped off with fuel, it looks like. Didn't really get a time in the box though for the 94. I don't know if they missed their stalls or what exactly happened here.
Yeah, I see 15.9 down pit lane, and there's no way you're rolling pit lane and getting a pit stop done that amount of time. I am going to make the bold assumption the 94 and 77 both missed their box.
Yeah, they're
They're
coming back in
back
now.
right now. They're there.
So a little trials, tribulation with the pit road, the pit stops. It's going to toss up to about 3 different strategies out here on the racetrack. You're watching the Overtake iRacing League Truck Series live on V-Speed. That's a good shot there for the outro and the back spoiler of the 94. But we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back here for the remaining stage of this race right after this.
Seems like they're only getting like 2 laps
Back
apace.
live at Milwaukee, and the 03 of Kenneth McCullough Jr., John Mullahan in the 6, side by side here. Pace truck pulls off, and here we go for the second stage at the Milwaukee Mile. Green flag is out. The 6 who raced from the back of the field up to the top 10 for the stage. He's going to lead him into turn 1. Oh,
Big
trouble
stack
back
up
here with
in
the
the 1.
16. We stay green. There was contact between, it looked like Nick Gardner and somebody else. They're still trying to get it sorted, and yellow flag does come out now. I believe that was the 67 of Michael Cole that was involved there with Nick Gardner on this restart.
You can see the top lane here, about 5 cars back, huge checkup, and there's trucks moving
Yep.
and shaking all over the place. And then the inside checks up. Gardner goes for a ride, Parks, Ross goes for a ride, and happens so fast here. Let's have a look from the chopper cam. 16 machine.
So Gardner just kind of got loose on his own. I think it maybe had something to do with having to come down so low on the entrance of 1 for that checkup. It just really upset that truck. Nope, he got in the back of somebody and somebody got in the back of him. The accordion effect. I didn't see that the first time.
It looks like Morton on the inside, I think it was. Maybe had a bit of a slow, backed up the corner a little bit more than everyone was expecting, and ended up causing a huge accordion effect.
We'll bring out our second official caution of the night. We had 3 yellows. That stage break that we just had momentarily. And now here on lap 41, field gets reset back up. John Mullahan looking like a genius now. He has the lead, and nobody has contested him yet. He'll get some laps led. And, you know, right now, if you're the 6 truck, you're hoping that this race just gets plagued with cautions so you can come in to get on the same strategy as the rest of these cars. With the shakeup on the strategy, Cody, we just have this second caution of the night. Everyone behind the front 4 have, well, I guess the front 2 have came in, and they have about 10 lap difference on tires. But if you get enough cautions, do you think that Mullahan and McCullough Jr. can even themselves out, get back on the same strategy as the rest of this field?
I believe so. That's right now, Mullahan and McCullough Jr. are sitting pretty great because they had that stage caution to cool their tires back down a little bit, and right now they're cooling them down again, and they're basically getting right back to same temps as what all these drivers that pitted on the stage are at for their tires. They're just dealing with the more wear. But I think if they keep the cautions and keep those tire temps down, I wouldn't be surprised that if they go down, see the rest of the field come down as well.
Lights are out on the pace truck, getting set to go back green. Barney has it back up in the air for officially the 4th time today. And John Mullahan will lead them back into turn 1. Hopefully no checkups this time, but the outside does not get going. The 24 of Kaser gets into the back of the 51. Peyton Hubbard has a little bit of damage from that. But it looks like we're going to make it through turn 1 this time. 3 wide in the back of the pack. Wes Wiegand, Jeremiah Hobbs, these guys sideways. Wiegand sideways in front of the field. And that's going to bring out another yellow. The 07 of Brian Kaser got loose after the fact and hit the inside wall. Chaos continues, but Christopher McCullough somehow got around, I believe, John Mullahan before that yellow came out.
We are rolling turn 1. Wiegand's in the middle and just loose off the corner, and then corrects it back up across traffic. And good job by a lot of those trucks to avoid that. We did see the 07, unfortunately, get a nose full of inside wall. Let's ride on board that 07. See what he saw from the restart.
You see the checkup here on the outside. That started up there with Brian Kaser, and it kind of just, again, the accordion effect that you have. Everybody's on the loud pedal until someone gets checked, and then everybody hits the back bumpers of each other. I think he got a piece of both those trucks. Looked like the 77 on the outside, he bounced off of that, maybe got clipped by the 88 of Wigan. Not entirely sure. But that'll do it here for another caution. Race recap up on your screen showing 4 lead changes and 4 cautions officially. 3 of those due to accident. But while we have another opportunity, let's try to pay some bills. We'll get another quick commercial break here. You're watching the Overtake iRacing League Truck Series live from Milwaukee. We'll be back on V-Speed right after this.
And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The Mile gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes
Slack.
Slack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it at Auto Club.
Back under green, back here at Milwaukee, right in time, just like we planned it. The 04 of Christopher McCullough, just like he planned it, takes back the lead. After starting on the pole, he led about 10 laps. Now he's going to lead some more, but where oh where is the 5 of Andy Kurtz sitting back and forth? He's the one that took over the stage win. McCullough trying to put as many trucks as he can between him and that 5, and that's a wise move. As they come out of turn 4, Alex Healy up to 2nd spot. See the older tires there by John Mullahan. He's holding on pretty well here on the outside, playing a little defense here on the 5. And, you know, a little bit fresher tires. You saw the 6 able to drive right on by, just like the 5 did to him. But I think it'll even out. I think Mullahan, Kenneth McCullough, they'll probably stop somewhere around the 9th, 10th position before they even out with these tires.
We'll see that that 6 machine has been ripping the top pretty aggressively, really driving it into the corner. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's really struggling to turn at this time. And we're going to find out here in probably 10 or 15 laps.
There's the 9 of Barrett Morton to the inside now from the 5th to 4th position. These guys pretty single filed out, but Mullahan on the outside. He's just got the freight train now. Peyton Hubbard off of turn 4. He peeked to the inside. Kenneth McCullough has fallen back already to 8th. Daniel Cunningham, who's back on the move in the 08. He's in 9th now. But it seems like, again, all these guys just trying to tick away the laps. It really has stagnated for positions. You have to go all the way back to James Kaufman to find side-by-side again. So, Cody, right now, if you're the 6, it's not worked out with the cautions, and you're kind of running the outside, allowing these guys to your inside. The 51 of Hubbard gets into the back. Kyle Mace tags him as well. I think these guys are letting them know, hey, your line is really impeding our progress, so if you could just politely move, or we'll make you. Not cutting them any breaks here.
That's a lot of it. That tire difference, he really got to play defense, and doing that, I mean, just like you said, he's getting the bumps to say, hey, get out of the way before we get you out of our way. I think he's going to get a lot more of those before Mays and Hubbard eventually get by him, because now we're getting to the point where they do have the older tires, but maybe the heat is about the same, and depending on how well they've taken care of those tires under the cautions, they may start to even out to the point where they'll actually have some pretty decent battling trying to keep those trucks behind them.
Yeah, he's decently battling right now on the outside of Mesa again. He's going to hold it up there on the outside. I think most of it's just turned off right now as we have a truck in the wall back there. I believe that was Jeremiah Hobbs in the 10. He clipped the wall coming out of turn 2. He's behind Dustin Reinsell. These guys just outside the top 10. But officially, we are at the halfway point. So now that brings us to the point where you find that volume knob on your smart device or that remote control, and let's bring some noise here. The Overtake iRacing League, live on V-Speed. Let's turn it up. Multitude of battles here on this racetrack. Kurt's trying to get around Alex Healy, who's parked it in the second spot here for the second stage. I was watching back here with Jeremiah Hobbs and Dustin Reinstettel. This is just outside the top 10, and Hobbs is actually running the outside a little bit better than the rest of these guys. He's playing really good defense. He's got around the 11 truck, now trying to work on parks, but look at this. He's going up to the outside. Hobbs is a little interesting, and the 73 takes away that line to play a little defense himself. But I think that Hobbs has got some speed. He's really turned it up here in the second stage.
Run on the top allows you to do is, as we watch a car get to his inside, is right here. You can turn left down the hill and get a really nice run off the corner, a good straight run, really save those rear tires as long as you get the truck rotated properly. And that allows you to carry more speed down the straightaway, get into the next corner better, and it just continues to compound for you to get better and better.
It's into the inside of Eric Parks now, creeping into the top 10. He's side by side down the front stretch, going to try to complete this overtake on board with Dustin Reinsell. He's got a good view. He's going to follow suit with the 10. Maybe get around Parks here, but first off, the 10 of Hobbs has to clear him, and there he does off of 2. Oh, and a block there by the 73 of Parks all the way down the back stretch in front of Reinstettel. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but Parks took the 11 all the way down to the inside. They were almost into the grass at one point.
It's going to check up everybody behind him. We got six trucks. It's about blood in the water.
Yeah, they all see the inside now, and that's for a position. This will bring the 11 of Reinstettel up to 11th now. Back up towards the front, though, it's starting to narrow up a little bit more. Kurtz has found the inside of Alex Healy for the second position, rather. The top 3 have checked out. Barrett Morton is almost 2 seconds behind the leader.
For Christopher McCall,
really?
Go
ahead, Cody.
For Christopher McCall, all he wants to see right now is those 2 battling for that second spot, because that's allowing him to pull out little by little every single lap. He's already up to about 7/10, 8/10 of a second on both of them in that going up and down just between him entering the braking zone and Keeley and Kurtz entering the braking zone.
Well, Morgan, you mentioned it at the start of this broadcast, these flat corners, Pocono actually modeled after that. So it's fitting that the guy that loves triangles is sitting here in the second spot. He's pretty much got this place figured out if he can just apply those rules from Pocono. And Alex Healy, he hasn't led any laps yet, but he has maintained this top 5 all day. He got the stage points there, I believe, in 4th position. He'll be sitting here in 2nd spot. He has not allowed Kurtz to get around him, and he's keeping Christopher McCullough honest. He's keeping him in check. Now, you are seeing lap after lap about a 10th faster for the 04, but at what point do Kurtz and Healy start to reel him back in? Because you got to think that the 04 is probably burning it up a little bit more than the rest of these guys.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that in probably about the next 5 to 10 laps.
Kurtz is just not able to get around. Here's a lap truck, the 07 of Brian Kaiser, and they go to the inside, get clear. Now the 9 of Morton. I think the 07 just a little off pace here today. He will go a lap down for the first time today. Nick Gardner, Ron Morse Jr., this is a battle back in 22nd position. Nick Gardner, who got involved in that first caution here today, he has since started the recovery mode. But, you know, with the limited tire sets, I don't believe that the 16 came back down in the pits. So after that spin and the touch on the inside wall, he hasn't really done anything to repair this truck, and so he's probably suffering a little bit from damage.
Got our
See the
first
nose
pit
pushed in.
taker.
Got some green flag pit stops beginning. I think that's Daniel Cunningham.
Yep, he started it. We'll see if he is going to start dragging everybody down or if everybody still wants to run some more laps. I'm honestly not sure what their fuel mileage is looking like. But if Cunningham's wanting to come down, obviously he felt something in the truck and in the tires that he was not happy with.
So he'll meet back out about 10th position here, right next to Jeremiah Hobbs, Sean Kaser. But he'll look like Superman here for a few laps. He's got about 28 lap pressure tires in the rest of this field. And here he goes to the inside of Hobbs now as they come off of turn 4. It looks like a lap truck. He thinks better of it, checks up, let these guys clear it, and he will take it into turn 1 on the outside. Let the 07 know, hey, I'm on point, I'm going, and there he goes. He's going to get a 2 for 1 as they come out of 2. So I don't know about you, Morgan, but the experience that I've had on any of these tracks is it's very easy to burn your stuff up, very deceitful. You always feel like you have to set the nose with the brake, but every time you do that, you're kind of flat spotting or wheel hopping. You don't really notice it until the truck starts to step out on you, and then it's too late.
Yeah, what you have to do on these short tracks is iRacing, the way the tire model works now, it really doesn't like off throttle time. Off pedal time. You have to either be on the throttle or on the brake, even on a wide corner like this. So you get into the corner on the brake, trail brake till you're right here, throttle up, get off the corner. And if you can do that with keeping everything square without slipping a tire, you will be fast at the end of the run.
We got a
It's like we got another one down pit road.
Yep, we got Kenneth McCullough down right now. We had a few more just call out that they're getting ready to come down. So it looks like Cunningham did start the pit cycle process, but for Cunningham, unfortunately, it may have been a few laps after what he was planning on everybody to start coming down.
So that's John Mullahan, Jeremiah Hobbs coming into pit road. The 6, remember, was on a little bit older tires than the rest of this field. He pits from about the 8th position. And, I mean, he evened out pretty well. I think he's still in a good spot here. The 10 truck getting service to his machine. These pit stalls, very difficult here. You can see the lines painted. They do not match the actual width of a stall. So it's a little difficult to get onto your pit box here. You can't go based off of those yellow lines that are painted on the surface. You kind of have to go a little bit past that. Really difficult pit road overall. And Here's a battle for the second position. Still hot, still heated, 1/10 of a second. Alex Healy, even though they're losing ground to Christopher McCullough, there he comes in. Healy now down pit road, but even though they were losing some ground, Healy was doing an excellent job of keeping that 5 truck behind him.
And here come the last 2 of the top 3 now. I think Keely's dragging them down right behind him because, believe it or not, I believe that's going to be our top 3, and I think that's going to produce a great battle towards the final 10 laps of this race.
Those 8/10 of a second, that the pace had fallen off there, so that's 8/10 of a second each lap that you're gaining by pitting early, so you gotta get it while you can.
That should do it for green flag pit stops unless we have a caution. And this goes back to what, Cody, you mentioned earlier in this race. You wouldn't be surprised if we had a late caution to see somebody make that call to come down and get 4 fresh tires. It worked out well for John Mullahan when we had about 10 laps to go in the first stage. He was able to race from about 19th. And the yellow flag is out. John Kaser, no, he's down pit road.
Ron
Somebody
Morris
out
Jr.
here. 76 goes for a ride. Doesn't look like he picked up any damage from this, but let's go back on the instant replay and figure out what happened to him. He's coming out of 4. Was he trying to get to pit road?
I think he missed the entry to pit road. I think that's exactly right. He's coming out of turn 2, setting up for it.
They might lock up the tires here coming out of 4. He's got the 67 of Cole in front of him. Yeah, he just sent it around.
Might have been too much rear brake in that machine to try not to burn off the right front tire. Hit the brakes and it went around.
So for the guys that did come down pit road, that kind of changes things. Barrett Morton had stayed out another lap. Kyle Mace, Dustin Reinsettle. So this actually puts Kurtz and Healy and some of these guys in a weird spot where they were in the back. They're going to come up to probably what the 5th, 6th position, but I think some of these guys that already came into pit road are going to be ahead of them. There you see the 04 Christopher McCullough. He's somehow these guys stayed on the lead lap. I think this yellow fell exactly where they needed it to. But if you're Andy Kurtz right now, you were just coming down into the pits as that yellow flag happens. You're back to 18th now.
The extra lap staying out really hurt Andy Kurtz, but it really favored McCullough and Healy as they are still 1-2. Hubbard gained a bunch of spots. He's up to 3rd.
So this will cycle through for about 30 laps to go when we take the green back here in Milwaukee. But we will take another brief commercial break. You're watching the Overtake iRacing League Truck Series live on V-Speed. More coverage after this.
And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The wheel gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes
Dweck.
Dweck.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
back live in Wisconsin, the Overtake iRacing League Truck Series for race number 11 of the season. Alex Healy and Christopher McCullough on the front row. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in here. If you would like to support the channel, use our link for Butt Kicker down in the description below. We'd like to thank you for watching tonight's broadcast. If you're enjoying this action, hit the subscribe button and you'll never miss a single race here for the Overtake iRacing League Truck Series. Right now, the action though, the top three, the strategy just planned out perfectly for these guys. But if you're Andy Kurtz, it didn't work out at all. He lost about 20 positions almost, and he's back here in 17th, 16th. He's actually picking up the spots rather quickly. He's on fresh tires, but he has a lot of work to do to get back to this top 10.
Elbows out, less than 30 to go. He's going to have to get him in bunches if he's going to get back up, challenge for this win.
Unfortunately, everyone on the same tires, so that order just got even taller. He's got, I believe, Kaufman, the new guy, Zadie, Daniel Worthington, all these guys that have been kind of stagnant back in behind the top 15, suddenly in front of them. So this changed a lot of the fabric of how these guys were running here tonight. And if you're Christopher McCullough, you're just looking to try to run away with this race, because there hasn't been anybody that's challenged me this whole race. If you're thinking right now, I'm the 0-4, I'm going to go win this thing.
Yeah, I'd be confident if I was Christopher McCullough. You're probably hit pit road for the last time. There's really no reason to come back unless there's a really late race caution. You see Healy struggling behind him, got a little tight out of 4. Tires getting burned up behind him. All he has to do is just ride and roll, maintain that half-second lead, and drive off in the sunset.
I'm interested to see if Barrett Morton will have the same patience that the 5 of Kurtz had with Healy. He's running about the same as Kurtz was. He's getting right up on the bumper, and the exit's just not there. Healy's done a phenomenal job with the defense, but it does leave him vulnerable to being moved out of the way. He's taking away their line on the entry of the corners. And while this is happening, Mace goes to the inside of Hubbard, dives it deep into the corner. What a sin there. He's going to take away the 4th spot.
That is a power move, slide job sort of thing there into turn number 1. With Kyle Mace up to the 4th position.
Kurtz up to 15th now. He gets around Zane, and he's working on Worthington. And another driver that did this earlier in the race, but he had much fresher tires than the rest of this field, was John Mullahan. But he's back to 20th now because of the cycle of pit stops. He lost out as well as Kurtz did. He's got a lot of work to do. It's a tall order to get back to the top 15. Chad Ross battles his way into the top 10. He gets around Justin Branham. These drivers have not settled down from about 10th on back. They're still side-by-side racing all over this racetrack. Nick Gardner up to 14th now.
See Nick Gardner in that blue and yellow machine way up on the top side there.
Kurtz just got around him there for 13th now. Gardner kind of falling back. He's got the 77. Zadie to the inside now as they go into 1 and 2. Gardner running that high line that we saw earlier with, I believe that was Hobbs that was running that outside. We're going to talk about another guy that didn't benefit. He was another one that came down with John Mullahan. These guys 20th and 21st respectively. I mean, it flip-flopped for some of these guys, but the consistency here for the 04 and the 97, they planned it just at the right time.
Huge slide for Kaufman coming through turn 3 and 4 there. I don't know how he kept that thing from spinning all the way around, but he did a great job. Although he's now going to get past each other.
Yeah, he's still struggling on the handling. He can't keep that truck down. The 77 gets into his door, or he maybe comes up into him. These guys pinching each other. They know it's less than 30 to go. They have to do it now. 20 laps left, and the 97 of Alex Healy has found something out. He is now shaving away this lead. He's got the 04 of McCullough down to 2/10 as they come out of turn 2. So maybe the 97 in conservation mode for a little bit of that run, and now starts to surge towards the front in the closing laps here from the Milwaukee Mile. almost a little tight there coming out of 4, but he hangs with the 04, and they go down into turn 1. They might be side by side next time by. Really high entry there for the 97, but he's going to get the run off the corner.
You can see it. It's right in the center of the corner. Caution's out on the racetrack.
Caution's out.
Like it was the 24 of Sean Kaser.
So Sean Kaser brings out the yellow. He was running back deep in this field. Back on the instant replay here, he has Mullahan on the outside. This is about 20th position. Let's see where it happens. There's the contact. He just wasn't quite clear, and man, he just about hit the entrance to pit road barrels. He hit him on the right side to hit him on it. If you would have got that nose in there, that's a good chance that truck gets stuck in the wall and he has to tow to pit road.
Or pop an engine and day over. So really, best case scenario for being involved in a spin off of turn 4.
I mean, it's a shame, though, because we were just starting to set up for what I think was going to be a good race between the 04 and the 97. And now we go into that strategy that you were talking about, Cody, where some of these guys are going to gamble and come down. They're going to get that last set of tires. It looks like the top 5 are already committed to that. The 9 of Morton's going to stay out.
Looks like 51 stayed out with them. I'm pretty sure those two, they're expecting another caution here. So I think behind the 97, the 9 was in conservation mode. So I think he's still got a lot more tire life than what quite a few people think.
Well, we're not doubting it for a second. Barrett Morton has been phenomenal at figuring out a way to win these races. Even if he doesn't have the fastest truck, he finds a way to the lead. And here we are again, Morgan. Less than 20 to go. The 9 truck finds his way to the front.
Tell you what, we have an interesting pit strategy as well. We had a number of drivers taking just 2 tires. Healy, Mace, Reinstedt.
Yep.
Then we got a bunch of 4 tires behind them. The front 3 didn't pit. So we have what is setting up to be a very interesting finish here. But you're right, Barrett Morton is leading this race. And are you surprised? Because I'm not surprised.
I'm
inside
not.
of 20 laps to go, and he's up at the front. It's just what the doctor ordered.
What is surprising to me is some of these guys that took 2 tires. I mean, Alex Healy only stood to gain maybe 1 or 2 positions originally from that. However, the guys behind him, Kyle Mace, Dustin Reinsel, they all took 2 tires. Christopher McCullough, who took 4, he lost 3 positions in that pit stop. Bobby Hall Jr. on 2, Eric Parks, Justin Branham, James Kaufman took 2 tires, Daniel Worthington. So there's a lot of 2-tire drivers out here in this top 10 right now, and that could cause another caution. If you're Barrett Morton, Peyton Hubbard, I mean, you know the statistics here for the end of these races in the truck series. There's a good chance that you win this race just because there's no green flag laps. You can't pass under caution, so you just lead the race until the checkered flag shows.
They're certainly in the catbird seat right now. If we continue to have caution laps, if they go green, it might be a little trickier, but their good news is that they don't have fresh tires, 4 fresh tires until 6 positions back, 7th place. Christopher McCullough is your first driver on 4 fresh ones, so that should at least give a little bit of a buffer between the 9 and the 51 and the rest of this field.
Doubling back up now. Pace truck will pull off this time by as the lights go out. Alex Healy and Chad Ross, the second row behind these drivers, and the first set of tires begins with these 2 drivers. And I tell you what, right now, if you're Alex Healy, you're going to go anywhere you can to get around these 2 drivers in front of you, because this green flag could be one of the last opportunities to get this pass off.
On this restart, he's going to be kind of in the lucky seat with Barrett Morton taking that high side, but he does have 51 and the 11 that is behind him. They're all in the same channel as that leader, so that leader may be giving them a countdown on when to go.
We're going to find out here on this restart. Pace truck pulls off. Barney has the green flag back in the air. It's a shootout here at the Milwaukee Mile. Would you have it any other way for the truck series? It's back underway. Peyton Hubbard blinks briefly there on the restart, and that allows Alex Healy to the outside into 1.
Healy did a great job rolling the top right there. He's going to clear out of 2. We got ourselves a race for the lead.
Excellent job there by the 97 of Healy. Now sets his sights on the 9, who's had 3 victories this season in the Truck Series. 1 victory at Pocono for the 97. Can he get his second one before we reset for the points? Side by side from 4th on back, Dustin Reinsettle, Christopher McCullough, Kyle Mace, Bobby Hall, all racing for position. 3 wide, and Ross makes contact. The 04 goes sideways, coming out of 2. Loses a ton of time and falls back to 7th. And right now, if you're the 04, you've got to be frustrated because you've got better tires than all of these guys around you, but they are chopping the nose. They are taking away your line. You just can't get clear. And now a battle for the lead underway. The 9 had a peek to the outside from Alex Healy. He's going to drive it back to the bottom. Late apex here for the 97. He's all over the back bumper of Morton down the backstretch.
He's going to have to make a, he's going to roll the top or go right to the bottom here in turn 3. He's going to pick the middle line, try and get a good drive off the corner. Those 2 tires are really working.
04's around.
04 McCullough is around. He's in 22nd and now back to 25th. He lost all of those positions, and that might do it for the pole sitter. We are out of laps, and a good chance that with that last tire set, it just didn't work out. The streak continues here for the 04 of starting on the pole and then having a bad race.
Oh, he got stuck behind the 38, who didn't take tires that time, had a really slow center of the corner. 04 didn't expect it, 94 sure didn't expect it. Around goes McCullough. Watch that.
And now we'll have less than 10 laps to go on this restart. If you're Alex Healy right now, you're probably not going to get the restart you had on this last one. The opportunities are dwindling away. You're starting to see some of the guys that had 4 fresh tires work their way closer, working their way up through this field. There's a couple of them. Travis Bieber, who's now in the 10th spot. I think the time is limited now if you're on these 4 fresh tires to even get into the top 5. And if you're on 2 tires compared to Barrett Morton, you're running out of laps to just get around his outside or do anything. These restarts are tough.
I basically call the tires even with the heat cycle at this point. It's just going to be up to putting the elbows out and getting after here for this last 10 or so laps when we go back green. Healy's probably only going to get 1 or 2 chances. It might be the initial restart, and it might be one other point before the tires get too hot on this run. And Hubbard's right there. And Hubbard is quite a good short track racer, if I remember correctly. He ran very well at Richmond earlier in the year.
Yeah, he did an excellent job, and remember, he's also kind of on the same strategy as Barrett Morton, and he's been able to maintain this top 3. Dustin Reinsettle, those guys had kind of fallen off from this top 3, so there's not a chance really if Hubbard can get to the inside of Healy. I mean, he has as good a chance as Healy or Morton do to win this race. Setting up here for about 7 to go when we take the green flag. Cody, nobody has any tires left. We are all in the bed. We're just gonna have to lay in it.
Yeah, this close to go now. I don't think there's even going to be enough laps for somebody to come down and take it. That's going back green. May have 6 laps to the checkered. That's it, unless we go multiple overtimes and you get lucky with that, come down before we start the overtimes, you're laying in your bed that you've made.
So Barrett Morton, I mean, Morgan, we're not surprised, and it's just shaping up exactly the way that he planned it. He's seen the patterns here. He's figured out that these guys start to get really racy, and all the different tire strategies play into his favor because guys get to racing each other. They end up taking each other out, and we ride the remaining 20 laps that he's found his way to the front under yellow. And all he needs is 1 green, white checkered, or, the race to go green from here on out, and he might seal the deal again for the 4th time this season.
And he's just trying to grow that points lead here before we reset for the playoffs. And we're going to find out here very shortly as they come off. They ain't going to turn 3 right now, but when they roll off turn 4, we're going to see if Healy's got anything for Morton or if Morton's going to walk away for win number 4.
Don't count out Peyton Hubbard. Richmond race went really well for him. Dustin Reinstedt, who's also on 2 tires on the outside of the guys that have older tires. Pace truck pulls out of the way. Down the front stretch of the Milwaukee Mile, we have about 6 miles to go. Morton hits the loud pedal into the restart zone, back under green. And a great start there for Morton. He kept the 51 of Hubbard to the inside of Healy, but Healy's going to get a great drive off out of 2. Another great roll for the 97, but he lost a ton of time to the 9. He needs this race to stay green if he's going to have any chance of catching up to him. Hubbard just not able to roll that bottom, and they are 2-3 wide back here deep in the field from about 15th on back. 6 laps to go officially now as they cross the line. 100 in the books. Off of turn 2, Healy doesn't look like he has the goods right now. He's got to figure out a different line. It seems like rolling that high side isn't working anymore. He's way deep into the corner here into 3.
Caution.
And we have another yellow. 67 of Michael Cole spins out. And this is going to do... I mean, this is just not what you want right now. If you're Alex Healy, you needed this race to stay green.
Crossover here, maybe gone wrong. I had to take a stab at it, and that's a connection issue. I don't think the 07 ever saw him there. Hear it in his lap, and round goes 67. I think we actually talked about that earlier in the race, didn't we? Michael Cole during his interview had some connection issues.
Yep, right there at the start, he was blinking a little bit periodically. It had cleared up pretty well for him, but there, just the worst time imaginable. The 07 of Brian Gazer had gotten to the inside, and he was probably going to plan that pass regardless, but he disappeared as soon as that happened, and he had no clue where he was. I mean, you just got to stay on the throttle and pray that he knew that you were there.
That's right. Well, this
so we're in green-white checkered territory.
Oh boy, if you're Barrett Morton, you're pretty happy right now. If you're Alex Healy, you're not quite as happy right now, because you only are going to have a green-white checker to make this thing happen. You got to nail the restart, or else it's game over.
Another opportunity for a mixtape here in the Overtake iRacing League. Will we see that again with their post-race interviews? I'm not sure what new word Alex Healy could invent for Milwaukee, but I'm looking forward to maybe the opportunity of getting to talk to him post-race. He's up here locked into second. We've got Morton locked up front. Peyton Hubbard playing great defense. But how about Kyle Mace up to 4th? He got around Dustin Reinstedt on that last restart. Mace, who had great success to begin this season, it's since been really rocky and bumpy. He's recovered a little bit of that, but he'll be up here in the top 5 for this restart. The front 5, all on different strategies. We've got no tires, we've got 2 tires, and now we're starting to sneak in some guys like, well, I was going to say Jeremiah Hobbs, but he seems to be struggling with 4 tires. He's falling back to 12th.
Right in front of Andy
Hobbs
Kurtz.
and Bieber both. Yeah. I think these guys with 4 tires, I mean, it's just a matter of, I mean, we saw Hobbs, he was rolling the outside. He seemed a little bit faster than some of these guys, and you'd think 4 tires would be good enough for him to get up into the top 10, but he struggled. And I think part of it too, though, is the same thing that Healy's dealing with, is this race just not staying green. It's hard to settle in and get those positions. You start to get those runs after the restart, everything sorts itself out, and then there's another yellow.
The heat cycle on the tires also something to do with it. All those guys on old tires, the temperatures can get back to their base level where they like to be. And all the wear on the tire does is just makes the tire heat up faster. It doesn't make the tire stay hotter. So right now, Morton and Healy both have equivalently heated tires. Morton's will just get there a little bit faster, but they probably won't get there in 3 laps.
So into overtime for the first time today. We will have 3 attempts at a green-white checker. We'll take the green flag, make it back around to the white flag. If they pass the start-finish line as the leader for that white flag, the race will be official, and we will race it out to the end. First one to cross the start-finish line will be the winner. If we have a yellow flag before the leader crosses for the white, we will re-rack them, add 3 laps, and try it again. We'll have 2 more attempts after this moment for those green-white checkers. But Barrett Morton, Alex Healy, Peyton Hubbard, Kyle Mace, and Dustin Ryan settle the top 5. Bobby Hall Jr., Chad Ross, Justin Branham, Eric Parks, and James Kaufman, 25 for your top 10. Let's go back and race here. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too at home. It's going to be a good one. Lightning finish here for the Truck Series. Green flag is out. Green-white checkered attempt number 1 underway. Another great start there for Barrett Morton. He jumps out to 0.2 of a second, but Alex Healy is able to clear Hubbard, and now here comes Mace on the outside. He rolled the high side great. Yellow flag is back out. Another caution here, and it looks like possibly Christopher McCullough involved in it again. And he is not happy with the 25, or the 24 rather. He filled that mirror up. I would say it has something to do with the 24 of Sean Kaser. That's a little early to tell there. Let's back that up one more time.
24 is right behind him on this restart, so I would say that's probably a safe bet.
Yeah, I saw him chasing him down. I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but he is not happy at all with Sean. So I'm going to venture to say it happens here in turn 2. Well, I don't think we have to say anything about that.
No, that happened, certainly.
We'll let you make your own theories at home, but I think the 04 had every right to be upset.
From the sounds of it, our leader may be having fuel issues.
Did he not take enough for overtime? We know that the iRacing simulator has added what they call an offset for pitting. And if you fail to turn off auto fuel or fail to click that offset number a little bit higher, pit crew will only add exactly the amount of gallons that it thinks you need to make it to the finish. It does not factor in green, white, checkered overtimes. It will get you to the white flag and checkered flag for the official amount of time. But when we get into this gray area that is green, white, checkered, iRacing still hasn't figured out a way around that. And I think that it's a neat feature, but it's been poorly executed. And I honestly think that they could just do away with it. I think it needs to be optimized a little bit better here, especially for the overtimes that we have.
What confuses me about with Barrett Morton here is that we had a lot of caution laps to go in with that fuel, so either he was really trying to stretch it, he wasn't going to make it to the end anyway, or he's been driving really hard and burning a lot of fuel, because the 51 of Peyton Hubbard should be having those same problems Barrett Morton did. In fact, Hubbard has gone 2 more laps than Morton has. So you have to see how the 51 does on this restart.
Cycling back on for air. Second green-white checkered attempt here from the Milwaukee Mile. Kyle Mace got around Peyton Hubbard, and he's into the top 3. Dustin Reinstedel falls back to 5th after several attempts here on these restarts. Dustin's just struggled as well. 2 tires have not been kind to him. Bobby Hall, Chad Ross, these guys have all been pretty stagnant. The only driver that's really competing for passes right now are the guys that have no tires. It's been really impressive here what these guys have been able to do. We're talking about a 14, 15 lap difference on tires overall. Only 2 tires for Alex Healy and Kyle Mace, but they've maintained the pace with these guys. They're doing quite well. Barrett Morton, again, kudos to him to always finding his way to the front. But here in this last restart, I mean, it's another chance here for Alex Healy to take it into turn 1. You see him getting them hot. He's getting ready to go. Kyle Mace on the inside. He'll have the advantage here with the 9 as they go into turn 1 on this restart. Second green-white checkered attempt underway into the Geico restart zone. Pace truck out of the way. Green flag is out. We're back in racing. And Healy does not match. He does well, but I don't think it's going to be enough here. Into one, Mace on the inside. A little pinch down there from the 97. He got back to the throttle a little bit sooner. That's going to allow a run off of the corner. Into the fence there for Hubbard. He gets blocked down the backstretch. The 55 going to send it deep into the corner, but now going to get past. 51 back to the inside for third. Oh, and a pinch in contact. The 55 takes out the 51. And we're going to have our third. Third green-white checkered attempt, and Alex Healy was to the outside of the 9 of Morton. He had an excellent restart, matched the tempo. And if you're the 51 of Hubbard, you are not happy with what Kyle Mace just did.
I would say there's probably some spicy helmets right now. Let's go have a look back at that incident. So
Mason overshot the 3.
Yeah, like
he
said.
shot over big time and then came down into the 51. That was just a bad judgment on the 55's part.
Yeah, there comes a point when you're at that sort of situation, you just have to.
You lost the spot. You got to let him go.
You have to accept that you made the
block
mistake.
here already.
Right.
That was just overly aggressive there by the 55. And he takes the 94 with him there to the inside. So a lot of damaged trucks here after this.
Well, if Barrett Morton was struggling on fuel before, he'll be sweating now.
Yeah, do you have a report there on the 9 truck?
He has not said anything yet, so obviously he must have been shutting the truck off to where he feels confident he can make it, or he's gonna run out taking the white flag. Let's hopefully we get around to the white flag this time. If we do not, the field's just gonna be frozen.
Barrett Morton still has to make it back around. Under his own power here to take that official finish lap. So if he runs out before he can make it back to the checkered flag, he could still lose this race. Doubling back up now, we're going to see the 1 to go signal when they come out of turn 4 this time around. Alex Healy, who had matched the speed of the 9 the last time by. He had gotten to the outside as they came out of turn 4. He was running pretty identical to the 9 truck, and I thought we were going to see the pass for the lead here on the final lap. But that move back there in about the 5th, 6th position didn't work out. Kyle Mace is still back up here in 4th, but he's got some damage on that machine. Dustin Reinstedt figures out a way to get up here into the top 3 at the end of this thing. Chad Ross, Eric Parks, Justin Branham, Jeremiah Hobbs, James Kaufman picks up another spot. He's up to 9th now, and Daniel Cunningham into the top 10.
It's good to see James Kaufman have a good run. He's been caught up in a lot of incidents, some of which he probably shouldn't have been involved in, and he's up here running the top 10, so good to see that 25 up here.
This is the time to turn your season around. You have this race and then the next one, and then it's reset. We get set to go back green.
Barrett Morton need the restart of his life if he wants any chance at winning this race.
He had it last time. He's going to duplicate it here. Pace truck's going to pull off as he figured out what the 9 is doing on these restarts. Into the restart zone we go. Onto the loud pedal. And doesn't quite get it going. This is going to open up the door now for the 11. This could do it. The 9 of Morton shuts the door. Healy has Reinstedt and Mace all over the back bumper. He's going to have to get a good run off of 2 if he wants any chance. They pull away side by side behind him. But Healy getting another great run here coming off of turn 4. White flag up in the air. Contact. The 5 of Kurtz sends it around, but we make it to the white flag. Just in time for the final lap. They thought the race might be over with. Alex Healy has one more chance. Coming off of turn 2. Looks like Barrett Morton has the drive off of the corner. Sending it deep into 3. Healy down to the bottom. Morton holds on. Off of turn 4 for the final time of the Milwaukee Mile. It's going to be Barrett Morton again for the 4th win of the season. The 6th of Mullahan into the outside wall. He will not cross the line. And there's a big carnage back in the field. Several trucks involved. And Barrett Morton finds a way again in the final laps to get to the front and holds on. Alex Healy, who had timed the restarts with him 4 times in a row, just couldn't get it on that last one, and Morton got enough space between him and the 97 to pull away and will become victorious for the 4th time this season. Congratulations to Morton and the strategy call that put him up front here in Milwaukee.
Getting real good at doing burnouts.
Yeah, he is. Post-race interviews with your top 3. We'll have Alex Healy, Dustin Ryan settle behind your winner, Barrett Morton. Official results coming up right after this. You're watching the Overtake iRacing League Truck Series live on V-Speed from the Milwaukee Mile. More coverage after this.
Here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The world gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes
Slack.
Slack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Back here live from Milwaukee. The Overtake iRacing League has concluded its 116 laps. We ran an additional 11 in overtime. 3 green-white checkers is what it took to sort out who was going to win this race. But Barrett Morton was victorious here today on the point in the last 20 laps. He led the most important lap of all, the final one. Alex Healy will bring it home in second. Dustin Reinstedel into the top 3 for, I believe, the 2nd time this season, so the 11 truck is going to be up there. Chad Ross gets an impressive 4th place finish after starting in 16th. Kyle Mace with that contact, and we'll have to get that sorted out because I'm not officially sure if there's going to be any penalties here for the 55, but he'll come home in 5th on the board. Eric Parks will be in 6th. Daniel Cunningham 7th. Jeremiah Hobbs in 8th. Good finish here for James Kaufman in the 25. He started back in 21st position. So Hobbs, Kaufman, and Wiegand also big movers in this race. Wes Wiegand will finish out your top 10.
Coming home 11th for his first time out. Zadie's going to come home in 11th position. McCullough Jr. in the 03 finishes 12th. Worthington in the 113 will finish 13th. Not the first time I've said that this year. Gardner comes home 14th for what is a much better finish than what he's got in the last number of weeks. Kaiser is going to come home in 15th. Ron Morris Jr. 16th. The 04 McCullough, he had a great run tonight, started on pole, will finish in 17th. Travis Bieber 18th. Justin Branham 19th. And John Mollahan, the strategy didn't quite work out for him. He will finish in 20th.
21st, we'll have Bobby Hall Jr. 22nd, Andy Kurtz. 23rd, Peyton Hubbard. 24th, Thomas Hall. 25th will be Brian Kaser. And coming up, tail of the field tonight will be the 67 of Michael Cole.
So now we go down track side. We have Dustin Reinstedt alongside our reporter here. Morgan Cook is down there with the 11 right now. Take it away, Morgan.
Let's get him up here real quick. Dustin Reinstedt.
Hello, sir.
Morgan, Bradley, and Cody up in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I got you loud and clear.
All right. Well, that was a little throwback to Racing Revolution if no one was familiar with that one. But you ran third tonight. Started 8th. You're always up in the top 10. Didn't say your name much up until right at the last few laps there. And, I mean, great job tonight, basically. But what did you need to get Healy, to get Morton to win this race?
Honestly, what I needed to win this race would probably have been whatever happened between the 51 and the 55. Just the only way I would have got there is if they would have took each other out, which nobody wants to see. But I didn't have anything for them. This was actually the first race I've ever raced here. So I literally spent almost the whole practice watching people that were running fast laps, turn laps, and seeing what they were doing. And it's actually pretty similar to kind of how you have to think about running New Hampshire. So I'm all right at New Hampshire usually. So it was pretty fun.
Well, I said that earlier in the broadcast, didn't I, Bradley? But you clearly
You
learned.
called it loud, I believe.
I did call it loud, and you're right. You obviously were able to watch and learn pretty well as you grabbed the third place finish here tonight. So what was the balance like on this truck? Was it loose? Was it tight? How did it get later in the run? Walk me through that.
It really wasn't too bad on the entry or in the apex because you were shifting, or at least I was. And that kind of helped slow the car down and keep the tires under you. Exit was a little sketchy, just depending on how late you waited to shift going down the front stretch or on exit. And that kind of determined on whether you were getting loose off or if you were kind of just a little bit slower but saving tires on exit. And that's what I tried to do, was just kind of wait as long as I could without turning the wheel on exit.
Well, you did a great job tonight keeping the tires underneath you. Anyone you want to shout out for this third place run?
Really just the guys that's on Bandits with me in the truck series. We were having a really, really good points night, and then Peyton had his wreck on one of the green white checkered. So just just those guys. It's fun racing with everybody there, and then C2 Motorsports as well. So just pretty cool having some guys you can talk about the race with during the race, after the race. And to the league, to you guys, broadcasts are awesome. I'm fortunate enough to run in 2 different leagues with you guys, so they're always fun to go back and watch. It's like watching on TV. It's pretty cool. And the league's, taking off and doing really well. It's really fun to be a part of.
Right on. Well, congratulations on third place tonight. That's Dustin Reinstedt here tonight.
Yep.
The third place here tonight, Dustin Reinstedt, I think is what we're coming to know him as. And we'll move on down pit road. I'm alongside here with Alex Healy in the number 97 machine, second place finisher of the day. And Alex, I mean, how many restarts does it take to mess it up? I mean, you had an opportunity there in the second to last one. You had match pace. If the race had went green there with that 15 or so to go, I think you had something for old Barrett Morton, but it just didn't work out tonight.
Yeah, I just needed more time. I'd come and taken 2 tires, obviously, and it turned out I thought I just thought I had it in the bag right there. But on the restarts, Barrett would get away a little bit, and then I'd have to do some work in 1 and 2 to get clear. And by the time I did that, Barrett had a pretty good gap on me, and it'd take me a couple laps to track him down. And I just ran out of time, man. It felt like every time I had a good run and I had him set up, another caution would come out.
Yeah, and we saw it there on the screen. It was just a matter of, can you get a long enough run? That second to last restart, you had matched with him, and just as you went into turn one, it looked like you were getting to the outside. The yellow flag came out. How frustrating was it here tonight to just continuously have an opportunity and then it get ripped out from under you?
I mean, yes, it is incredibly frustrating. It's some of the most aggravated I've ever been, just knowing that I had the tire advantage, I had the pace advantage. But at the same time, I can't be super mad at P2. I've got to win on the season, so good point stay and all that. But damn, man, I really thought I had that thing locked up. I thought I had it locked up much earlier on. I was the first of the leaders to take tires under green. I undercut everybody by 1 lap, and I hardly made it off pit road before a caution screwed my night up. So me and the yellow flag got some talking to do tonight, I think.
I was kind of excited. I'm kind of disappointed that we're not going to get another mixtape here for the Overtake iRacing League, but congratulations on P2, Alex. I know that it was hard fought and the strategy looked like it was going to play out, but just another one of those races that you'll look back and say, well, what can I do differently, I guess. And Alex, is there anyone that you'd like to shout out or thank for tonight's performance?
Yeah, first up, Team Flux Motorsports, Dan Worthington, Wes Wiggin, Bobby and Tom Hall, Dakota Shepard, which he hasn't been here in a little while now. All the other Flex guys, it's awesome racing with them, getting to hang out every week. My wife, she's probably watching the stream right now. If not, she's passed out, but always supporting me and watching. All my fellow admins here in the OIL, Alex Penn, Dan Worthington, Cody Anderson, Dave Farmer, everybody that helps run this show, and you guys as well, V-Speed. You guys do a great job with the broadcast, and we appreciate the hell out of you.
We appreciate you as well, Alex. Congratulations on second, and we thank you for your time and all that you do here for Overtake iRacing League. So getting down to crunch time, man.
Yep, on to the next one. On to Phoenix, which, by the way, before I go, I just want to say I bought Milwaukee about 10 minutes before this race started, so I can't be that mad.
That's that stamp on the side of your truck. That is a true flex for you to come out there and say that. So, but I mean, congrats, you figured it out quickly, man, and kudos to you because I still haven't figured this place out. I've owned it for 2 years.
I appreciate it, buddy. We'll catch you. Well, I'll catch you tomorrow night, of course, and then back in the truck next week at Phoenix.
And 4. Well, there's Alex Healy, second place finisher here tonight in the Truck Series. And that brings us to Victory Lane, a guy and a name that we're all so familiar with. We have Morgan Cook down there next to Barrett Morton.
Well, Barrett Morton, name we've become so familiar with in V-Speed Victory Lane. How did you do that?
I don't know, kind of following the trends of cautions towards the end of the race and not really wearing my tires out in that last little stint. So I don't know, a lot of luck. I would just call it all luck right now.
So
I don't know how I'm winning these.
You led 32 laps tonight, and a lot of those, I think I see all of those came after we had that cycle of that rash of cautions right after the green flag stops. I think you were able to take 2 tires there. Is that right? Took 2 tires and kind of leapfrog the field or stayed out somewhere. There was a different strategy call that you had, but like you said, following the trend of cautions and having a lot of them late, Healy tried, but he couldn't quite get to you. Every restart was perfect, and you showed a little bit extra on that last restart. Why don't you walk us through that last green white checker?
Yeah, I just had to keep it held down. But the whole ordeal right there was, again, luck. I come around to, like, I wasn't winning this race. I was just hoping for a top 5. I felt like I had a top 5 truck all night. So I come around the pit, and there's a truck sideways in front of me. So I'm like, oh, and then the caution comes out. So I stayed out, and it trapped a few guys a lap down, and that's honestly what helped out. And that's kind of just how our luck fell. And then a caution came out. Everybody pitted when we were only like on 10-lap old tires. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to stay out. And it obviously was the right call, because then they just kept wrecking behind me. All I had to do was hold a couple guys off.
Yeah, and the luck has fallen your way a number of times this season. This makes win number 4? Is that right on the OiL season?
Yeah, correct. The only one I feel like I earned was actually Michigan.
So are you going to leave any for anyone else, or are we just going to win all the races from here on out?
I'm trying to help a couple teammates out. They quit getting involved in wrecks. Lucas didn't even show up tonight. I hope to God he's at home working on his golf game.
Oh, that's shots fired inside the team. Look at that. But Barrett Morton, who do you want to shout out for this first place finish tonight?
So his beautiful paint scheme with RD Designs, Spearcrest Digital, all my teammates down at Bandits and C2, Cofield Supplied Service. Really enjoy racing with these guys. And then everybody I was in the chat with, Sean, normally Lucas, and Dustin. What a great third place finish with Dustin. And then Peyton had some bad luck there towards the end, but we had a lot of fun, and I'll take a win any way I can get it, man. Hopefully keep this momentum up going into the chase.
Right on. Well, good luck when we hit playoff season, and you are, I would have to imagine, going to be the top seed rolling into the playoffs. So good work, and that is your winner from tonight, Barrett Morton.
So it was another great show here from Overtake iRacing League's Truck Series. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, it's a good opportunity to do so you never miss a single race. We have every single series here for Overtake iRacing League. The Xfinity Series will be live at 9 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night. We're triple booked here on V-Speed, but the racing going to Phoenix, so that's the last race of the regular season before we head in April 8th to Bristol Motor Speedway, and that'll be a good one as well. We've seen a lot of competitive racing here on V-Speed. Whether it was Saturday Night Racing, BTDY, and the Sunoco Cup Series, they've always had good finishes there, so I'm looking forward to that one as well. But for everybody here at Overtake iRacing League, Alex Healy, Cody Anderson, all the stuff that guys in the background do here for this league, my co-producer and color commentator of the night, Morgan Cook, Adam Baker for all he does in the background, and our other producers, Christian Hill and Eddie Smith. This is Bradley Cooper telling you to have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you tomorrow night. QSR, BTDY, and Overtake iRacing League. So long, everybody. Take care.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
No, gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Dweck.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.